Now, football was once a sport that I thought could do no wrong, but I have changed my stance on that lately, especially with Warren Sapp coming out and some of the other things that has transpired over my 25 years on Earth about especially CT brain injuries. This is something that a lot of people don't talk about. This is a very important matter. We seen Warren Sapp just come out and talk about memory loss and everything, and I read comments on that ESPN article, and I seen how so many fans who once rooted for this guy were just like, oh, it's alright. I mean, he's getting old, and like people were just like so insensitive to the situation, but they don't realize like that guy had a very long career. He was asked to go get that quarterback. He had another 300-pound lineman blocking him, hitting him in his head just as much. Another guy on the team, Mike Allstott. He's gonna have to answer that. I remember seeing blood come down his forehead. I'm like, wow. And as a kid, we cheered that I cheered that stuff on, not realizing like these guys are actually out there putting their lives on the line. These guys are just trying to appease the fans and their owner to attain more money. Guys like Ray Lewis, just hitting everything he sees. Sean Taylor, hitting everything he's seen. And you know, the list go on and on. Ronnie Lott, a lot of these guys. But the problem is, we act like this CTE stuff just doesn't happen or it's natural. This is something that really should have happened because, who's benefiting at the end of the day? Let's look at somebody like Jerry Jones. Ask Jerry Jones will he let his grandson play football. And some of these players, like general manager stuff, have played football. They're the general managers, not the owners. You tell me how many NFL owners play football. Arthur Blank. You think he was out there tackling people? Go ask him if he would let his grandkids play football. So now we're at a place where the owners are like, hey, y'all making me millions on top of millions on top of millions. I'm only shaving y'all for a little piece of the pie. But I want you there to go run through that linebacker, and I want that linebacker to go run through you. It doesn't matter. Hit. This is bad. This is what got us to this point that we're at now. So according to the Brain Injury Research Institute, there's reportedly 1.6 to 3.8 million sports and recreation-related concussions that occur each year in the U.S., with football accounting for over 60% of those injuries. So hearing these things, why are so many people just so eager to jump at the chance to play football? I think I know why. Growing up, what do? We say, hey, I want to get my mom out of this house and move her to a nicer house, or my parents, just in general. Like many people who grew up in impoverished situations don't want to live like that forever. So what do they think? They're like, all right, how can I make the most money? Because we know that in America, you can't live without the dollar. Well, all I got to do is be able to jump really high, run really fast, and I can make millions of dollars? That's called being an athlete. Well, I was blessed with that. So all I got to do is go to high school, boom, graduate, then go to college for a couple years, do whatever I do in college, but not really take books too serious at times. And then I go to the NFL and make millions of dollars. Well, you, with that mindset, has just set yourself up for failure. You rely on the NFL to give you this lifestyle that you have always dreamed of. And you go out, you play every game. You play every game. You give every practice your all. You getting concussed, everything. Hey, coach, put me back in the game. I got a family to feed. You done got your brain scrambled out there, basically. But you thought that the NFL was basically the only way for you to basically provide this lavish lifestyle that you want to live, when really it wasn't. You could have been a doctor, you could have been a teacher, you could have been a lawyer, you could have been a bunch of other things, a police officer, anything. You could have been, but football wasn't your only way out. Now, you don't think them NFL owners know that? All right. They've always known about the brain injury thing, but did they really care to shed light? Because that would actually take money from their pocket. So they're like, hey, we have new helmets coming in and all this updated technology. We're gonna keep our players safe. But I'll tell you this right now: these players are expendable. Jerry Jones isn't expendable. His money isn't expendable. He'll go get somebody else to replace you, but you can't replace another Jerry Jones. You can't. That's like if you ask Jerry Jones, hey, how proud of you of sports? He'll say, hey, I love football and everything. But you don't see Jerry Jones, like I said, you don't see his grandsons out there playing. It kind of reminds me of the thing in the military. You know, these people try to put an emphasis like, hey, it's so prideful to serve your country. But President Obama got 2 kids. Are they going to join the military? How many senators out there actually got sons or daughters serving, fighting in the war, going overseas and fighting? But they try to put that on people like minorities and stuff like, hey, you guys should be so proud to serve your country. But it's like it's not really like that. You saying that because you don't want to do that stuff. And yes, that does ties in to football. It's the whole point about how the owners are saying, go out there. Football is such a great sport, and it's provided the owners with billions of dollars. But the reason they are billionaires isn't the same reason you're a millionaire. The reason they're billionaires is because you went out there week in and week out and almost got a concussion, or probably did play with a concussion for them to get really, really, really wealthy off of you. Now, brain injuries cause more deaths than any other sport. Brain injuries account for 65 to 95% of the fatalities. Warren Sapp isn't the first person to come out and speak about that. We've seen Junior Seau die for this. We've seen numerous NFL players die from this. And it's still happening. Because these guys are only getting bigger, stronger, and faster. So we really can't turn a blind eye to it. And the next time we watch sports, we should actually realize, like, man, we might need to take it easy on some of our favorite players out there. That's why you might see some of these guys just out there. They're actually out there for a check. But there's actually a lot of guys who actually love the sport and give it their all. But are those $50 million, $60 million worth your long-term health? Dying at 50, 40-some years old, 60-some years old? Was it really worth it? It's my biggest thing. In 2016, there was 244 concussions. 2015 was 275 concussions. Now, 2013 and 2014, 206 and 229. Now, do y'all really think those were all the concussions that were reported? They've actually have done a better job at that. So now if you do get caught faking a concussion or you do get a head injury and you don't report it, you get in trouble. But we know for a fact the Patriots and them don't even report every injury out there. Tom Brady had a pretty big hit in his last Super Bowl. Julian Edelman, when they beat the Seahawks, man, he took a pretty big hit from Cam Chancellor. That guy was still playing. I knew something wasn't right with that. So, what would Bob Kraft say if Bill Belichick would have took him out of the game? Took Tom Brady out. He'd be like, I don't care. He's not going to be fired, of course, because it's Bill Belichick. But it would have been some words said. And when Bill would have been like, well, my player had a concussion, Bob Kraft would have probably understood it, but it'd be like, hey, at the end of the day, you just lost me all this money. You know how much money these guys actually make from winning games. So, I say that to say this. Their millions is worth more. The money is worth more than players' health, I feel, in the NFL and sports in general at times. As athletes, we have to realize that football is not the end-all, be-all. Football isn't the only way to make money. Now, if y'all enjoyed this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check the podcast out on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube as well, and Libsyn.